Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm not going to hold you. Season 2, episode 14, man. As usual, I'm your host, Scott. You know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Barbershare Scott. You know to follow this great media company that this show is on, HNB Media, at HNB Media on Instagram and at HNB Media TV on Twitter. And you can follow the Barbershare Network, Barbershare Net at Twitter on Twitter and Instagram. And also you can subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Barbershare Network. Of course, you got your $5 summer sessions package, $10 all access package, man. We're gonna have a new episode of Summer Sessions dropping tonight, so look forward to that one. We also are going to have a new episode of Cinema with the Guys dropping tomorrow on the Patreon, where we will be breaking down all things Marvel. You know what I'm saying? We'll give y'all a Doctor Strange review. We'll give y'all, our Moon Knight recap, which is weeks overdue, actually about a month overdue. But me and my brother have had such a fucking crazy month that we haven't had time to do that. So we'll recap Moon Knight. We'll tell you what we think about those Thor and She-Hulk trailers and what exactly should we be expecting from Miss Marvel, which will be dropping in about 2 weeks. So got a lot of stuff going on for that. And then we also will be reviewing the Obi-Wan series starting next week, which debuts tonight if you live on the West Coast at midnight. And me and Dante will be doing another episode of Cinema with the Guys. We'll be breaking down all 6 episodes of We Own the City, which of course is the little, I guess like a show in the Wire universe, but actually it's based on real life. So we're gonna give our little recap on that. So there's a lot of Cinema with the Guys shit coming. Sports is starting to wind down and things like that. So we got a lot of shit to talk about today. It's been 2 weeks since I've been able to talk to y'all. I am finally back here in beautiful Los Angeles, California. So you don't see any of my mom's office shit in the background as you see here. But before we get to sports, man, I just want to talk about something serious a little bit, man. I want to talk about the school shooting happened this week in Uvalde, Texas. I think that's how you pronounce it. That took the lives of 19 kids and one teacher when they was there. And this is I'm not a politician or nothing. I don't really pay attention a lot to too much politics. I try to stay in my naive world of sports and entertainment. So because it's a lot on your mental. But this certain thing it's been fucking with me, man. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It's been fucking with me a lot. As somebody, it's multiple ways you can go about it. We could talk about, you know, the gun laws and things of that nature, but it's just sad, man, when you have these kids, little kids, like I don't even think these kids were even older than 10 years old, most of them. And I'm not a parent. Hopefully one day I will be a parent, but I'm not a parent. But I do have little cousins. I know how sick I am just reading and hearing about this situation. So I can only imagine how the parents are feeling because school is supposed to be a safe space. You know what I'm saying? Like this is supposed to be a spot where you drop your kids off and you're putting them in the hands of other people to make sure they're fine for 8 to 9 hours a day or however long school is now. You don't ever think that when you're going to drop your kids off that they might not come back to you. And it's really sad. And I think that the sad thing about it is there are no more safe spaces in America. Like, where the fuck are we supposed to go? The shootings happening everywhere. I'm from Chicago. There's shootings back home all the time. Even though I hate when people bring up Chicago as like, what about Chicago when it comes to defending guns? Because it's like you don't give a fuck. It's not like you're actually caring about the actual lives that are being lost in Chicago. To gun violence. You don't give a fuck. You just want to use my city as a launching point, as a launching pad to your bullshit, argument. But it's just one of those things where it's like you can't even go to the grocery store. We know about that shooting that happened in Buffalo a couple weeks ago. That lost the lives of 10 elderly, middle-aged to elderly black people. And of course the church shootings we've seen, like it's been too many of these. Been way too many of these. It's like Sandy Hook happened almost a decade ago, and it's like nothing is like that. To me, Sandy Hook was the admittance of America doesn't give a fuck. I'm 33, gonna be 34 this year. So, my first real experience, or not experience, but knowing about school shootings was Columbine back in like 1998, 1999 or something like that. And that was just like so unheard of at the time. And it's fucked up to the point now, like this shit, it's become normal, and it shouldn't become normal. It's I don't want to be numb to it. It pisses me off. It makes me sad because you got 10 kids, 10 kids who have their whole lives in front of them. And you got a coward who comes in and takes the lives of these children because of whatever the fuck he's going through. And we need to stop using mental health as a crutch when it comes to these type of things. Mental health is important. I'm really glad that it's getting the spotlight that it's been getting in this particular time period. I feel like everybody, even if you feel like you're fine, you should be speaking to a therapist. Even me, I need to get better with that. I need to get me a therapist, to have somebody just to talk to on the regular. But we can't be using that shit when it comes to, like, I don't give a fuck whatever he went to, what he was bullied, what he was doing. I don't give you the authority to go kill some fucking children. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, and then to kill yourself after, it's just cowardly shit. And I'm not gonna rant too much on it. But I will say I love what Steve Kerr said. I know a lot of people was posting that, and Steve Kerr is not just talking, he's talking from experience. His father, if you don't know much about him, lost his life in gun violence back when he was in college. And if you watch the Last Dance documentary, that was the one thing him and Michael Jordan had in common was they both lost their fathers to killings. So, he's speaking from a place of experience. And I love what Jason Tatum said. I love what Ime Udoka said. I love what Damian Lee said. I will say that, like, I really love what I heard from the NBA players and just everybody. Even on the inside the NBA crew, I love Charles Barkley, but he's not really the guy I want to hear when it comes to politics. But he hit the nail on the head with what he said about this, and so did Ernie Johnson. Man, it's just I'm sad. And I do feel like we need stricter gun laws, but this needs to be nationwide. And unfortunately, that's never going to happen because these gun companies in these southern states, they don't give a fuck about kids dying. They just want their fucking guns. Look, Chicago has strict gun laws, like some of the strictest gun laws in the country. But motherfuckers still go over to Indiana and all these, nearby states to get their guns, and the shit's still happening. So until these fucking politicians do their fucking jobs, unfortunately, it's going to continue to be the same shit, man. I just, it's been fucking with me all week. It's been fucking with me all week. I know he made jokes on Twitter about, oh, I'm 33, I'm old. 33 is young as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have my whole life ahead of me, and I still live 23, 24 years older than these kids did. They had their whole life in front of me. Even if you look at, like, hip-hop, like, when I was a kid, when Biggie and Tupac died or got killed, you think 24, 25 is just old. But when I've now lived 8, 9 years older than both of them. And it's like Biggie and Pac were kids when they got killed. Like, these are kids. These are legitimate kids. And I'm just sick and tired of it, man. And we're at the point where no other country does this. Like, we hear about that land of the free. You can do everything you want bullshit. It's all bullshit. And I hate the little theatrics that come with it. Like, even right before game 4, oh no, it was before game 5 last night of Heat Celtics, we had the bullshit anthem at the beginning. Like, yeah, that's gonna kids just died. Let's unite the country with the bullshit anthem. Like, that type of shit be pissing me off, man. So, I could rant about this shit all day. But I'm just sad. So my thoughts and prayers with all the family and friends of all the kids and the one teacher who lost their life in this situation. And my thoughts and prayers are also with people who lost their lives in that grocery store shooting a couple weeks ago. My thoughts and prayers with anybody who has lost a loved one to gun violence, not just this, but anywhere, man. So we need some change, man. But that's all I had to say about that. Just wanted to talk about that. This is much bigger than sports. But let's get into some sports as we try to move on a lighter note. Game 5, Heat and Celtics Eastern Conference Finals was last night. The Celtics pulled out another ugly game, and I'll get to that in a minute. 93-90. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown combined for 47 points. The fucking Miami Heat was another bad offensive performance by them. Kyle Lowry played 25 minutes and only had one fucking rebound, nothing else. Max Strus has been god awful. Jimmy, you can tell that knee is bothering the fuck out of him. When I heard knee inflammation after game 3, when he left in the third quarter. And I just want to say too, I was watching game 3, in O'Hare Airport, and all y'all know how much I fucking. If you follow me, you know how much I fucking hate O'Hare Airport. Like, y'all can say what y'all want about Midway in Chicago. Yes, it's not the cleanest, and it is smack dab in the middle of the South Side. But I have no problem finding no bars there. It's in and out. I ain't got no problems when I go there. Fucking O'Hare is big as shit for no fucking reason. And how are you an international airport that doesn't fucking have a game, a TV, a bar open watching the fucking game? Like, it's the Eastern Conference Finals. I went through that whole fucking airport because my flight was delayed like 2 fucking hours. And I went through all of Concourse B. I took United. All of Concourse B, I walked through that little tunnel that leads you to Concourse C. And not only could I find a bar that wasn't watching it, that they had a TV on, all these motherfucking bars was closing. It was like 7 o'clock. What type of fucking airport are you closing bars at 7 o'clock? But anyway, I digress. I found a little spot to watch the game, like on my phone, in the United like wait areas. So I was watching the game and I just saw, how ugly it was. And I saw Jimmy left the game with knee inflammation. I was like, yeah, Jimmy's gonna play through it because he's Jimmy, and it's the playoffs, and Jimmy plays through a lot of shit. But you can't be normal. You can't be a normal self with your knee inflamed. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure this is the regular season. He'd be out a couple weeks. So you gotta give credit to him for actually, playing and giving them for his teammates, but he can't do nothing. He can't do nothing, man. And this has just been it's been an ugly series. And really the whole conference finals, I can't remember the last time in recent men, really all time. I've been watching the NBA for when was 1996? About 26 years ago. Yeah, it's about 26 years ago. My math is off. It's a long ass time ago. I've been watching basketball. I've been watching NBA basketball since the 1996 NBA Finals. That was the first thing that introduced me to not just basketball, but introduced me to sports. I was 8 years old, and I watched it with my mom. I watched the whole series with my mom, and that's why I became, a big sports fan I am now. So I've been watching NBA basketball a long ass motherfucking time, really all my damn life. And I can't remember one conference final round as a whole, like both conferences, where the shit was just trash. Like, this is like, it just got awful. Like, I don't think I've watched one conference final game in either series front to back. Even last night, they tried to fool us. Like, that game was competitive for like 2.5 quarters. And then Boston went on like that 12-0 run at the end of the third quarter, and that was all she fucking wrote. It's just bad basketball. I have a theory for why that. And I know all you LeBron stands out there like, well, don't you miss LeBron in the playoffs? No, the fuck I don't. I don't. And honestly, this was a very competitive and fun postseason until this fucking last current round. The reason this shit is ass ain't got nothing to do with LeBron or Giannis or KD not playing no more. The reason this shit is ass because the way the people play the basketball in 2022 is god awful. It's nothing but 3-point shots and niggas not getting back on defense. I'm getting tired of it. It is becoming an epidemic. Like, I remember I was watching Game 7 of Bucks Celtics. Well, me and my brother when I was back in Chicago, and I was like, "Go to the fucking basket, man! Like, go to the fucking basket. Those are high percentage shots. Get your mid-range set up. Watch what DeMar does, man. Get your mid-range set up. Get your Kobe on. Get your Jordan on. I'm tired of all this three-point shooting nonsense that's leading to these ugly games. And it's also why we see so many damn 20-point comebacks. Because it's easy to let motherfuckers back in the game when you keep fucking chucking threes instead of actually running actual offense. But it's just been bad. As far as this series goes, I picked Boston in 6 when the series started. Just because I didn't feel like Miami had enough offensively, which obviously they don't, as we see. I mean, I think the starting lineup in Game 4 had 18 combined points. Victor Oladipo had more than the fucking Heat starting lineup in Game 4. That type of shit should not fucking happen. These motherfuckers missed 38 threes. 38 threes in Game 5 last night. They took 45. That's my problem. Why the fuck are you taking 45 threes a game? That shit is like nonsense. And I know people say, well, Steph Curry ruined the game. No, Steph Curry ain't ruined the game. Motherfuckers who think they can shoot like Steph Curry are the people that ruin the damn game. That's the problem. And the thing is, it's fun. The Warriors are kind of like the team that like birthed this like new era of like super supreme 3-point shooting. And if you look at Warriors games now, they don't even shoot like that fucking crazy anymore compared to the fucking rest of the league, especially Steph. Like, Steph will break out a dickhead 3 every now and then when he's feeling it or they're on a big ass run. But he's just not doing that type of wild shooting anymore. So I'm just tired of seeing it. But Miami, we saw that tweet from Joel Embiid last night, which was actually kind of funny. Like, he knew what he was doing when he tweeted that. Joel is a fucking troll about the Heat need a new star. They do. And that was my concerns with them coming into this playoffs in general, and why I didn't pick them in any round. Well, that's what I did. I picked them in both rounds, but why I didn't have them like going to the championship like a lot of people did. Like, I can see Miami going to the championship because they can't score like that. You know what I'm saying? That grinder 2004 Pistons type of group offense, that shit don't play in 2022. It's like in the NFL for teams who think you can still win a Super Bowl by having a half decent quarterback and running the football with great defense. That shit is not how the game is anymore in football. If you ain't got one of these elite quarterbacks, you are fucking cooked. You know what I'm saying? That shit is just not going to happen. The same thing with NBA. It's a superstar-driven league. I love Jimmy Butler. Y'all know I'm day one Jimmy fan. I've been a Jimmy fan since he had that shitty haircut his rookie year and he was fucking Joakim Noah's rookie. I remember that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been a Jimmy fan. Jimmy is a star. Jimmy's not a superstar. And Jimmy can give you 40 every now and then. Actually, he's actually performed way better in this postseason than even I expected. He's been actually an offensive threat, and I do feel like that knee injury fucked everything up for him. He can't even get into a rhythm, and that's not an excuse. Injuries happen, especially in today's NBA, but that's just really what it is, and that's not why I'm saying why they're losing, because I didn't pick them even with a healthy Jimmy, but that is definitely part of it. And as far as Boston, I'm concerned about Boston. I'm concerned about them, even though they won this. They only scored 93 points last night, and their offense has been bad all fucking series. And they're like, this is two top defensive league. That's why it's not Miami's defense. Just like I don't think it's Boston's defense to why Miami's playing so damn bad. This series in the Eastern Conference Finals has been way more bad offense on display than it has been good defense. It's just been bad. Like, the Heat had good looks last night. It's not like they were getting locked up. They had good looks. They just weren't making them. Same thing with Boston. And Boston turns the ball over too damn much. And I love Jason Tatum. But can we get some consistency, my man? There's too many Tatum's killing. Then what the fuck did he do in the second game? And that's why I say box score watchers. Some of y'all, you can look at the box score and like, oh, man, he's been killing. Watch the damn games. Jason Tatum needs to get the consistency up until he gets consistent, he won't be a superstar. And they're beat up. Both teams are beat up. Miami's beat up. Boston's beat up. I feel like Robert Williams and Marcus Smart miss every other fucking game. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't think it's going to be enough to, if and when they play the Warriors in the NBA Finals. And yes, I'm eliminating Dallas. I mean, like, I hate when series are 3-0 and then the team that was down 3-0 wants to like fight up and like, we're not getting swept. It's like, you're wasting my fucking time. Like, let's just get this shit wrapped up and get the finals going. So yes, I'm pretty sure that tonight there will be a party in the Bay Area as the Warriors are getting ready to go to the 6th NBA Finals in this little 8-year run that they've been doing. But 8-9-year run. But I know Golden State hasn't seen a defense like Boston, and I don't even think they've seen they had an offense. Why can't they say that? Because they play Luka. So yeah, I haven't seen a defense like Boston. I get that. Boston's not seeing no offense like what the fuck they finna get from Golden State. Who they beat in the first round? They beat Brooklyn. Brooklyn runs a street ball style offense, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's easier to key in on them two defensively. Milwaukee didn't have Chris Middleton. This is not excuses. Like I said, you earn your way. Especially in this era of NBA, injuries happen. You can say last year the Bucks wouldn't have won if this and that didn't happen. So I'm not using this as injuries as an excuse to like discredit Boston. I'm not saying that. And when you've got a Miami team who's offensively inept, these Warrior motherfuckers is a different breed. Because now it's just not Steph and Clay that you got to deal with. It's like I like to call them Splash La Familia. You got to deal with Steph. You got to deal with Clay. You got to deal with fucking Jordan Poole. And recently, you got to deal with fucking Andrew Wiggins, man. You got to deal with Andrew Wiggins offensively, as we've been seeing in this Western Conference Finals. Really, this whole playoff run. I love what Andrew Wiggins has been doing. I gave him love on Ball on Lie this week. I've never been a Wiggins guy. If y'all watch this show, of any of our podcasts on the network, I've gone back and forth with Pappy for years about Andrew Wiggins, but he's been incredible, and even defensively. And, so you have the anchors of that defense in Draymond and Andrew Wiggins. And Kevon Looney, man. Kevon Looney has been looking like Baby Robin in these playoffs with all these rebounds he's been getting. He's been getting looks in the post, and that's just a different threat. And the bench guys, and Steve Kerr is a student of Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich, meaning he plays the whole fucking bench. So might get you a game like you got in game 2 and game 3, where you got Otto Porter giving you decent minutes, or you got Kuminga giving you decent minutes. They even got Moody out there playing. So it's a deep team. The only concern with the Warriors is they like to take their foot off the gas a little bit, which I give them credit for in this series. They haven't really done that too much. So I think it'll be a lot, and I don't think Boston's going to have the offensive firepower to deal with it. Now, of course, when that actual series is finalized, I'll do my full breakdown and preview on that, but that's just my little thing on that. But as far as how this series, I think this shit is a wrap. I think tomorrow night in Boston, it is over. I think by Friday night, we will have our 2022 NBA Finals matchup set, and which means we'll have a week with no NBA basketball, which I'm actually kind of fine with, because it's not like we've been getting good basketball to fucking begin with. So I'm kind of fine with a little week break. I'm already getting into full baseball mode any fucking way. So I do think that Miami fucked up by losing this home game, and I think it's a wrap. I think there's no way that Miami scores enough points to get out of TD Garden alive on Saturday. That crowd is going to be raucous. This will be, the Celtics trying to get to the finals for the first time in 12 years. Since they lost to Kobe and the Lakers, that big Ron Artest 3 in Game 7 of 2010 NBA Finals. A lot of y'all who watched the show were like 7 when it happened. As I'm noticing by a lot of my Twitter followers, a lot of y'all motherfuckers is young. You know what I'm saying? Like, I seen a tweet. Somebody said y'all was 18 in 2006. I'm like, don't be mad at me because y'all still got breast milk on your breath. But anyway, it'd be a long time. So that's they're trying to get back to the NBA Finals. They're trying to reclaim their place on the NBA throne, as the whole history of the Celtics has been. And wouldn't it be poetic justice that the first year we get the Larry Bird trophy for the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, it will go to a Boston Celtics. So I think that's a wrap on Friday night. I think it's going to be a little party in Beantown. They can get over the fact that the Boston Red Sox suck, and that the Patriots still don't have a fucking offensive coordinator, and that the reality that Mac Jones really isn't that damn good is going to come at some time this season. They'll still have their Celtics, man. So that's what I think is going to happen. But let's go to the West Coast. What's going to crack on tonight in the Bay Area, the Yay area at the Chase Center. It will be the Golden State Warriors looking to close out Big Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks in Game 5. I think what we saw in Game 4 was just a matter of Dallas finally hitting shots. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's been a mix of good defense by the Warriors, but also just motherfuckers missing shots. And you can't have Kleber and Reggie Bullock go 0 for 15 in, what I'm saying, those in games 3 and 4. Not games 2 and 3, I think it was. And think you're gonna win a basketball game. I think Luka has done all he can. He's got to go through it. This is what the greats go through. Having to lose in the playoffs. Everybody has gone through it. Michael Jordan's gone through it. Shaq's gone through it. Kobe's gone through it. LeBron's gone through it. Steph and them and the Warriors have gone through it. Every great goes through it. So he's just going through the motions. I mean, before this season, he never won a fucking playoff series. I think this is a massive improvement for the Mavericks. And I like the little, they're going to put the little fight in there, you know what I'm saying? But with all that being said, it's a wrap, baby. Like I said, it's going to be a party in Beantown tomorrow. It's going to be a party in the Bay Area tonight. The Warriors are going to reclaim their dominance in the Western Conference. When they win this one, this will be their fourth trip to the NBA Finals. Actually, no, it's a sixth trip, right? I don't know. 2015, 16, 18, 19. No, fifth trip to the NBA Finals. It's this is just it's been their conference. It's been their conference for the greater part of the last decade. And this is really, what I'm saying, I think they're going to come out all guns a-blazing. I don't think they're going to play with their food tonight. They know it's at stake. You don't want to risk, the series going any further, because you don't want anybody to get injured, and you want to have that week rest for your guys to get ready to host the NBA Finals if they do play Boston. And if Miami somehow finds a way to come back, they're going to have to go on the road because Miami owns the tiebreaker And you definitely want to get rested before you go on the road. So they definitely got to close this thing out tonight. I think they're going to close it out. I think you're going to see Draymond be spectacular. You're going to see Steph be Steph. And I think Steph will be the first ever Magic Johnson Western Conference Finals MVP. And I think it's going to be one of those games. I think we get another blowout. At this point, I don't care. Just wrap it up so we can get to the finals. Hopefully that's a little bit competitive. But I just want to talk about, two things before I get to what this means for Steph Curry. With the Mavericks, they're in an interesting position heading into this offseason. And I think Mark Cuban needs to understand, you cannot fuck this up. You have been blessed. A lot of ownerships, a lot of owners, a lot of front offices, a lot of franchises don't get blessed with having with back-to-back franchise superstars. Had that with Dirk. Dirk got you to 2 NBA finals, won you an NBA championship, won an MVP. And now you've got Luka, who has done all this, accomplished all this. He's already top 5 in triple doubles, and he's fucking 23. He's only like his 4th season. Like Luka, I believe is gonna be even greater than Dirk. And you cannot fuck this up for a couple of reasons. You need to get you a legitimate second player to Luka. And there's no disrespect to Spencer Dinwiddie. There's no disrespect to Jalen Brunson. Those two have been hooping. And I think Jalen Brunson is going to get a lot of money, whether from the Mavericks or somebody else. But you can't let this window pass. And don't think that you're, we made it this far, that it's going to be the same next year. The Warriors will be back next year. They're going to get James Wiseman back, which I think a lot of people forget. They got flexibility, to be able to move one of those pieces to get somebody else if they choose to do so. I believe Memphis is going to be back reloaded as long as Ja's healthy. Phoenix, I think they'll be a threat again next year. And, you got other teams. Minnesota's on the rise. Like the West got some teams, man. So you don't want to take the situation for granted. And I don't think a free agent is coming to Dallas. So I think they're going to have to get this star in a trade. And for me, Luka's an interesting guy on who you could build around. I think he needs a big man or a wing to compliment him. Like, I think the perfect compliment to Luka, which will never happen because Boston will never let this guy leave. Jason Tatum will be the perfect compliment to fucking Luka. Or on a lesser scale, Brandon Ingram would be perfect. Maybe they put their hands into the DeAndre Ayton sweepstakes and try to get Ayton to pair up with Luka. So that's what they need to try to build. Don't waste this. Don't be like, I hate, windows in sports are so fleeting. Like it could be here today, gone tomorrow. In all 3 major sports. Football is the most year to year league ever. Baseball, injuries. 1 year you're hitting ain't on nothing, your pitching ain't on nothing. I mean, how many times have we seen? I mean, like even the Astros won a World Series and they've been to like 2 and they haven't won again. The Cubs are supposed to be this big dynasty. They won one and just couldn't do shit after that. So you need to take advantage of these runs. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know what's gonna happen. So Mark Cuban's got his work cut out for him this offseason. Now, everybody likes to talk about legacy. That's the number one thing the NBA Twitter likes to talk about. Let's talk about Stephen Curry's legacy. To me, right now, he's already a top 5 point guard of all time. He's already a top 10 player of all time in my mind. I don't think this championship will change that much, or him winning that Finals MVP that everybody cares so much about. Outside of me trolling LeBron fans, because that will be happening, all my basketball knowledge will be leaving my head, and I'll be full troll mode. But on the actual basketball, I think the only thing that it changes if Steph wins this championship, the Warriors win this championship, and it'll be their 4th title in 6 tries. My numbers off there. I don't fucking know. I think it's their 4th. We're going to do this again. 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22. Okay, so 6. I went to Chicago Public Schools. I'm sorry. So this will be, if he wins, be a 4th championship in 6 tries. As a team, we haven't seen a team win 4 in this type of time frame since the 90s Bulls. I don't want to hear about the Spurs. And this is why I want to tell you I don't want to hear about the fucking Spurs. They didn't fucking repeat. I despise it so much. We would call the San Antonio Spurs a fucking dynasty. No, the fuck they ain't. If you don't repeat, you're not a dynasty. That means there was no dominance. There was no consistency of being to reclaim your throne. I'm going to give y'all dynasty math here. A dynasty is when you win 3 championships within a 5 to 6 year span. And out of those 3 championships, you repeat at least once. That's a dynasty. You know what I'm saying? If you want to about dynasties, there's only maybe 5 dynasties in the history of the NBA. 1960 Celtics, the 1980 Showtime Lakers, the 1990 Chicago Bulls, and the Kobe and Shaq Lakers, and the Golden State Warriors of this era. Those are the 5 NBA dynasties, okay? San Antonio Spurs is not a dynasty. Just want to get that out there. But this will be a great achievement for their team, for the organization. It will put them at, I think, 6 all-time championships in NBA history, which will tie them with the Bulls. And for Steph, for me personally, it would make the number 1 point guard of all time conversation at least a conversation. Now, I would still have Magic over Steph by a very slim margin, but I feel like you can have this conversation with a straight face now. And I think this will give Steph, in these conversations, the Mount Rushmore conversations. These are all, I'm not saying that these is going to definitively put him there, because my Mount Rushmore is Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, the reason I don't have LeBron in this is not because LeBron played. I think LeBron is a better player than Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, but it's about impact. You know what I'm saying? Like Larry and Magic saved the NBA. I wouldn't be able to talk to y'all about the NBA. I wouldn't be able to cover about the NBA. The NBA wouldn't be a league right now if it wasn't for them two. They were losing money. You know what I'm saying? If you watch these documentaries like Last Dance and, Winning Time, or the Rivals documentary about the Lakers and the Celtics, they were losing money. When Jerry Buss bought the Lakers and they told him, oh, this is a bad investment because you're buying into a failing league. The NBA Finals were tape delayed to like 1987. So those dudes legitimately saved the fucking NBA. So just off that, and of course they're spectacular players, all 75, top 15 players of all time. That's why those two are in there. Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. He took the game to a global level. I forgot who tweeted this. It's one of the best tweets I've ever seen. I wish I could remember who said it, because I bring this tweet up all the time. They said, Magic and Bird saved the league. Michael took it global. LeBron took it mobile. I love that, because that really gives you, where we got to right now. And so Mike is, because he took global, he's on that list too. And so the rest of y'all probably, well, if LeBron took it global, why he's not on the Mount Rushmore? It's because there's a guy named Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I believe Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, if you're an old head and you tell me Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the greatest player of all time, I will not argue with you. Kareem has the resume, has the 6 championships, has the 6 MVPs. He has the finals MVPs. He's done it all. He's the leading all-time leading scorer as of right now. Of course, he won't be by this time next year. It will be LeBron James. But you can say he's the greatest player of all time. When I do my greatest player list, I have 2 different lists. I have greatest players that I've seen. On my greatest players that I've seen list, Mike's number 1, LeBron's number 2. Now, if I just go off total who I think is the greatest, even if I wasn't, alive to see them play, it's Mike number 1, and then Kareem number 2, and then I go LeBron number 3. So that's why I got to put Kareem on that Mount Rushmore. But I feel like, Steph win this championship, he'll be right there with LeBron, is having a legit conversation of being on that Mount Rushmore. And then I also think this last thing, how I think I change is his legacy if he wins. I don't think you can call these last 10 years the LeBron era. I think it should be the LeBron and Steph era, just like the 80s was the Magic and Bird era. I think they got to share that, because then out of the last 10 years, they both have, now the last 12 years, they both have 4 championships each. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm not saying that Steph is a better player than LeBron. LeBron's a better player than Steph Curry. I mean, it's not even debatable. But I think as far as sharing the era, they got to share that. It will be the LeBron, Steph Curry era, I believe, if he wins this championship, man. So that's just what I feel like it would do for Steph's legacy. Now, of course, we got a lot to do, a lot more to go. Still got about maybe 3 weeks of basketball left. They still got to get the job done. If it is Boston, they still got to get the job done. So that's just my take on that series. I think the Warriors wrap it up, and I think Saturday morning, we will have our NBA final set, and it'll be Warriors and Celtics, man, which would be big for the league rating-wise. You have one of the most iconic franchises of all time in Boston, and you got, the ratings monster that is the Golden State Warriors. And so that should be fun. Hopefully it's much better than these conference finals we watch. But let's get into some final, award season is over, is ending in the NBA. We finally have the All NBA first teams announced. Right now, I'm going to go over this and I'm going to give y'all my problems that I have with these lists. But for the All NBA first team, we got Giannis Antetokounmpo. This is actually his fourth straight unanimous All NBA first team selection. Congrats to Giannis. But it's also wild to me that this never happened for Michael Jordan and LeBron James. It's kind of crazy. But Giannis is on there. Devin Booker is on the all first team. Luka Doncic, the MVP, two-time defending MVP, Nikola Jokic, and Jason Tatum is on the All-NBA first team. Now we go to the second team. We got my man Wardell, Stephen Curry. We've got my dog, Debo, DeMar DeRozan. We got Kevin Durant. We got Joel Embiid, and we got Ja Morant. And the final third team, LeBron James, Christopher Paul, Pascal Siakam, Karl Anthony Towns, and Trae Young. I don't have a problem with the players on these lists. I have a problem with the order and the way the NBA votes. I don't feel like Devin Booker should be in the All NBA first team. I just don't. DeMar DeRozan had a better season. He had a higher offensive load to take than Devin. I know Devin had that little, was it like 20 game stretch where Chris Paul was hurt at the end of the season, but they already had the fucking first seed locked up. Zach LaVine missed hella time with injury, with that knee, with COVID. Alex Caruso missed half the season. Lonzo Ball played 2 months and he ain't been seen since. And DeMar went out there, played 78 games, put all the minutes, multiple 40-point performances. He was, anytime you're on a list with Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan, you're in the right conversation. His numbers were better all across the board. I mean, I'll give Book was a better defender, but I feel like he should have been on there. And then somebody tweeted me, oh, well, he was on there as a forward, which is why I have a problem with the way the NBA votes for this shit. How are you going to have him as a guard? He was voted as a guard, as an all-star starter in the all-star game, but he's on this as a fucking forward. It makes no fucking sense to me. And how do you have Joel Embiid on the All-NBA second team when he finished second in MVP? And I even think Jason Tatum said that. And somebody's like, who should come off? The fucking guy who said it, Jason Tatum. Like, the fuck? So I believe that, those two were snubbed on there as far as that. And, also, I like Pascal, but 13, dog, he shouldn't be on the fucking 13. I didn't even remember he was hooping the first half of the year. And LeBron and KD, I'm gonna give LeBron some love here. I feel like LeBron was robbed. I feel like LeBron should have been on the All NBA second team over KD. Now I granted, LeBron missed a lot of time, so did KD. But when LeBron played, he looked way better than KD did. And for him to average 30 points, damn near 30 points at his age, I think what LeBron is doing right now, and like I said, I'm not a fan of the guy, but I'm not blind. And this is why I say my LeBron criticism is legit. Because my issues with LeBron are not basketball. When it comes to basketball, I haven't had a basketball complaint about him since the 2011 finals. There's nothing to say about the dude. He's amazing, basketball wise. And for him to be in his 19th year and you're still on the All NBA list is just like, what? It's crazy. Like it's like some Tom Brady shit. Only difference is Tom Brady is running up a check on these fucking championships, but it's something we haven't seen in the NBA. Really since Kareem, even Kareem wasn't playing this well this late in his career. So I believe LeBron should have been all second team, but regardless, it's amazing that he is even in this position at his age, man. And I want to talk about the voting. I saw something on NBA, was the NBA, the little NBA pregame show with Stephen A. Smith and Jalen Rose. But Jalen Rose admitted that he gave a vote for Kyrie Irving to be on the list. And then there's the problem I have with that, man. we can't be, and I love Jalen. I'll say multiple times, Jalen is the realest nigga on ESPN by far. Detroit dude. I love Fab Five. You know, he's Chicago. I've always been a huge Jalen Rose fan. When I was a kid, and he retweeted me when I said this. When I was like 14, I went to the Jalen Rose Classic at the United Center. Ashanti is performing at halftime, doing joints off of a second album. So I'm aging myself right now. Huge Jalen Rose guy. With that being said, he got to be smarter with the voting. Everybody else needs to be smarter with the voting because these players are getting paid based off their all NBA selections. You're messing with players' money, and it also comes in the legacy talk when we're doing these little debates. The all NBA teams are going to come up. So it needs to be, they can't be loose with these vote. Maybe we need like a board to do these things, but there needs to be better voting when it comes to this because these players are missing out on money. I mean, look at Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine, and by the way, I'm gonna keep telling y'all, he's going to be a Chicago Bull. He just wants to get wine and dined, which I have no problem with. You earned your unrestricted free agency. And Rich Paul is an amazing fucking agent. He's going to make other teams sweat. But at the end of the day, that $212 million offer for 5 years, he's getting from nowhere else. And even to get the 157, where you going to go? Orlando? You going to go San Antonio? So at the end of the day, I believe he's coming back. But even with Zach, if Zach made an all-NBA first team, all-NBA team, he qualifies for the fucking super match, which is $265 million. So that's I know 212 is a lot, but $265 million. So when you're voting, a lot of money is on the line. I feel like it needs to be better voting when it comes to this shit, man. So to wrap it up, I don't have a problem with the players who made the list outside of Siakam, but I just feel like the order should have been a little different, man. Let's stay in Brooklyn a little bit, as we talked about Kyrie and Kevin Durant. An article came out in the Daily News yesterday, New York Daily News, which is funny. Whenever I heard think about the Daily News, I think about the episode of Seinfeld where Kramer was asking George, does he read? He's like, well, shit, I read the Daily News. So, this article was written by Christian Winfield, and he is called For the Nets, the end game is much closer than it appears. And this article basically states about really the conflict that's going on in the Brooklyn Nets organization, which we all knew was going to happen, of them not wanting to give Kyrie Irving a long-term deal because you cannot depend on him. You can't depend on him. Because of the COVID thing, and even with the COVID thing, there's always something with Kyrie. There's always fucking something with Kyrie. He's just not fucking dependable. And I think even Stephen A said I would give him like 1 year deals, like $50 million every year. Like he's worth the actual money when he's playing. Keywords when he's playing. And apparently, according to him, Kevin Durant has not spoken to the Nets since their first round exit to Boston, which feels like a lifetime ago now. And there's some legit, concern here about what's going to happen. Kyrie Irving has a player option for $37 million. So he can decline that if he doesn't get a long-term deal and hit the fucking market, which should be an interesting market. Derek, I don't know anybody with a brain who's giving Kyrie a long-term deal. But in this article, Christian Winfield says that somebody told him last year that, he didn't believe it, that somebody told him last year that James Harden was going to lead the Nets, and then it was going to be Kyrie Irving, and then it was eventually going to be Kevin Durant. I don't see how Brooklyn has any leverage here because they pretty much are at the feet of Kevin Durant. They do what Kevin Durant wants them to do. And Kevin Durant has been vocal on it. He wants Steph Curry. Not Steph Curry. He wants Kyrie Irving back. He probably do want Steph Curry back. I wonder if KD sit up at night and wonder, damn, I shouldn't have left Golden State. Like, you can be a podcaster in fucking the Bay Area. It's fucking the tech capital of the fucking world. Silicon Valley. You could have did this whole 35 inch shit out there. But they need to figure out how this is going to go. They have no leverage because once they let Kyrie play at home without the vaccine, they lost any and all leverage. It's like you let somebody off the hook for something and you try to get mad about the shit you let them off the hook for. That's just not how this shit works. I think that they will come to a conclusion of some sort. Maybe it's a 2-3 year shorter deal, maybe a 1+1 type of deal. I don't see I can't never say never because one thing about ESPN, about NBA free agency, even with the Zach LaVine free agency, you can never be 100% on anything. The NFL just got to that of having crazy offseasons, but the NBA is king of crazy offseasons. So you can never say never. Wouldn't shock me Nothing that Kyrie Irving will ever do from here on out in his entire life will ever shock me. So I won't say it's not gonna happen, but I don't forecast a situation where he leaves and then Katie is stuck here with role players and Ben Simmons and his fucking back. So, but that's gonna be something that's something interesting story to monitor over these next couple weeks. We're starting to know these situations. I think the three big stories is gonna come as soon as the NBA draft is over. Where's Zach LaVine gonna go? What's gonna happen with Brooklyn? And is there any way that the Lakers can get rid of fucking Russell Westbrook? So that'd be a big offseason story that we're starting to see get some legs that we can pay attention to in the next couple weeks, man. The next thing I want to get into, I want to talk about. I'm really tired of talking about the subject, but Deshaun Watson, the Cleveland Browns quarterback. They started OTAs this week. Not week, but last week, OTAs across the league. I had the pleasure of covering the Chicago Bears OTAs last week. Now, we must say it's OTAs. You can't overreact too much. But in my Stephen A. voice, I'm gonna overreact anyway. And Justin Fields looked damn good from what I saw. I watched the whole practice. I loved what I saw. But OTAs across the NFL. Deshaun Watson was at his OTAs. He just took his teammates on a little trip. I think it was to Cabo, if I'm not mistaken. Buying them watches, donating to their fucking charities, trying to look like a real teammate. Good guy, right? While he's still awaiting a decision from the NFL. And while this happened, HBO's Real Sports, which is on HBO Max, hosted by one of the sports media legends, Brian Gumbel, aired an episode where journalist Soledad O'Brien interviewed two of Deshaun Watson's accusers, Ashley Solis and Kyla Hayes, who are among the 22 women with pending civil lawsuits against Deshaun Watson. Hayes and Solis, and I'm reading this from an article from theroot.com. It says that, like the other accusers, were massage therapists who Deshaun hired for private sessions back in 2017 and also through 2017 to 2021. And this is the first time we've been able to get like a face, at least from what I saw, to these accusers. And I have this little thing that I say, even with the Bill Cosby thing. 22 to 100 people don't lie on one person. You know what I'm saying? And when you have these sexual misconduct or in Bill Cosby's situation, rape, even if one person, let's just say 21 of these women are lying, right? Even if one person, even one of the women were telling the truth, that's all that fucking matters, man. And when you hear these stories, not like I was watching these two women, they're crying, they're in tears, reliving these situations. And I just felt sick for him. I just felt bad for him because that he's able to get away with this. And let's be very fucking clear. He's going to get away with this. He'll get his little suspension. I think he'll probably get in between 6 to 8 games originally. Then he'll probably appeal and he'll probably be dropped to 4 because that's just how the fucking NFL is. They take no fucking accountability. I will be straight up stunned if Roger Goodell drops the book on this motherfucker and is like, look, no pay for this season. You're not playing this season. We'll see you in 2023. I would love it if that happens. And I think that'll be actual justice to an extent because there'll never be justice. These women will always be scarred. They'll always have PTSD from this situation. But at least there'll be some type of justice to punish him. And I feel like if you're one of those people who are still questioning this shit, watch this episode and listen to these women speak. This shit is just nasty, and the shit matches up too much, and it's just it's really started. Not starting, but it pisses me off that so much of this shit happens, and these people get away with it, man. And it's nasty that you see some Brown fans. I won't say the whole fan base. Some Brown fans just walking around like it just don't fucking happen. Or I have a quarterback, and I think it's like. I think one of the accusers, what was her name? Ashley Solis, she said that it doesn't matter because he can throw a football. And that's really what it comes down to, man. There's no accountability for it, man. And I just feel like if you have a time, you should watch that episode. It sheds a little bit more light on the situation. And, my thoughts and prayers out to those women, man. And, hopefully somehow they get some type of peace and that some type of punishment, rightful punishment will be brought to Deshaun Watson, man. And I think he's a nasty dude. I think he'd be locked the fuck up personally. But That type of shit doesn't get taken care of in this country. But that's pretty much all I have for the rundown for my goofy mog of the week. This might be a little lengthy goofy mog of the week. I want to give it to. I gotta do this. Stephen A. Smith is my man. I love Stephen A. Smith. He's one of my media role models, I guess. Like, there's a list of people who I watch their shit and like I model my media game after. Of course, the legendary Stuart Scott. I love watching Stuart Scott. My favorite sports centers when I was a kid was Stuart Scott, Rich Eisen, and whichever episodes Dan Patrick was on. So I love me Rich Eisen. He's the first dude I seen like, he's like me, black man on TV, being cool, all his catchphrases, being on TV. He was the first guy to do it. So of course, Stuart Scott is somebody I look up to. Rich Eisen, I love Rich Eisen. He was a sports and I watch his show every day. That professionalism he brings. Stephen A. Smith, love Stephen A. And I had the pleasure of meeting Stephen A. twice and actually had the opportunity to actually speak to him last time I met him and, had a good conversation with him and, he showed love and everything like that. But with that being said, I was really disappointed by his take on this Josh Donaldson, Tim Anderson situation. And a lot of this is more, I don't like the word coon. I feel like black people, my people, we use that word too loosely because a black person doesn't agree with the majority of black people, they're coon. I don't like that. I don't like it being, unless you're doing legitimately Uncle Tom coon shit, I don't fucking like it. And I also feel like for the most part, Stephen A. Smith does get a bad rap when it comes to some of these issues. Well, he was in the wrong. Him, Marcus Spears, Doug Glanville. I know I'm missing some other black reporter. And really my goofy mog this week is to black media personalities who don't get this. The Tim Anderson, Josh Donaldson thing. When if you've been living under a fucking rock, or if you don't pay attention to baseball like that, Josh Donaldson called Tim Anderson Jackie, as referring him to Jackie Robinson as a slight. If anybody's black, that white people say shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Like that little thinly veiled racism, where what's up, Puff Daddy, or, things of that nature. I got a homegirl who said, one time she was called Beyonce because she decided to change her hair by some white classmates. And it's just little subtle shit like that. And when I first watched it happen, I'm a White Sox fan, so I know that the White Sox in general don't fuck with Josh Donaldson. Just so many instances that have happened, not even just the Tim Anderson, but the little round the bases thing when he was in Toronto with third base coach Daryl Boston, and of course the situation with Lucas Giolito last year. So there's a little history between Donaldson and the White Sox franchise in general. But with this particular situation, when I saw them get into it, Yasmani Grandal pulled up on Donaldson like he was just gonna beat his ass. I'm like, what the fuck happened? I'm watching the game. I didn't see none of those going on. And to see him react, for TA to react like that. But what was really eye-opening to me is when Tony La Russa did his post game. He was like, "Yeah, he said something racist," which was rich coming from Tony La Russa. But that's a discussion for another day. But Tim just wasn't upset and wasn't fucking with it. And shout out to the people in the media who do get this. David Cohn, who was part of the Sunday Night Baseball broadcast on Sunday, said, "Yo, is this flat out simple? If TA felt it was offensive, there's nothing else to talk about." Eduardo Perez, he did a great job talking about it, saying, we've got 7% African Americans playing in baseball, and we're trying to get more. How does this help the situation? But to have Stephen A. Smith and Doug Glanville, Mark Spears go up there and say that, Josh Donaldson was done wrong and things of that nature. And, he called him that before. First of all, do your fucking research. And I understand they cover a lot of sports. I know they're not watching all the games, but still do your fucking research. Those two were never teammates. Those two were never cool. Like Liam Hendricks said, you don't have, inside jokes with people you don't fuck with. Even if I had an inside joke with one of my Caucasian friends or Mexican friends, 9 times out of 10, that inside joke ain't racial. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that there's lines you don't cross, and for them to not get that, and I know for a fact all three of those men have experienced racism working in not just this field, but in particular that company that they work for. There's no way that they didn't. I mean, there's no way. Probably Stephen A. got exiled from ESPN over a decade ago. We forget that now because he's like the poster boy for the company. He's fucking everywhere, but he got exiled from the company. So I was just really disappointed, and I feel like for black media personality, you have a platform to be able to go out there and tell people about the situation and know the real. Because if you're black and you're gonna say, oh, and you're siding with Josh Donaldson, then you make these other white people confident or comfortable to say, well, he's black, he doesn't feel that way, so yes, he's right. And it's dangerous. I don't like that shit. But I will give a shout out to one of the few guys at the company who holds it down, Bomani Jones. I love watching Bomani's show / podcast, The Right Time. And he had TA on yesterday. And it's not a mistake that TA did his first interview with a guy like Bomani. He felt comfortable with Bomani because Bomani's going to keep it real on the race aspect. And, when I found out that TA reached out to him, that told me even more about the situation to actually give more, light on the situation. He said that, yeah, he called me that when he was in Atlanta, and I told him I don't play that shit. And he said, then you signed a 2-3 year deal with the Minnesota Twins, and we play the Twins all the damn time, and he ain't have none of that shit going on. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say it one time. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of shit that, I just don't fuck with. I don't fuck with, and I feel like they need to be better. Like I said, I'm still a huge Stephen A. Smith fan. I love watching him, but I expect more. And I don't even think it's like a tap dancing type thing. I think it's more of the older black people thing. What's about respect and, make sure you wear your suit and tie and make sure you look good, in company. It don't matter if you got a suit and tie or a fucking do-rag on. A lot of these white people, and I'm gonna say not all of them, but a great majority of them are going to still look at you as a nigga. It just is what it is. It doesn't matter what the fuck you wear. So that type of respectability politics, I just don't fuck with. So I gotta give my Goofy Mark of the Week to Stephen A., Doug Glanville, Marcus Spears, and everybody out there who's black who just don't get it. And I'm not even gonna talk about Jason Whitlock's bitch ass. I'm not even gonna give him the fucking time to talk about that. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all today, man. I appreciate everybody who watches this show. I'm not going to hold you. Episode 14. We got a couple more episodes in the season before we wrap up. Season 2 will wrap up after the ending of the NBA Finals. And then the show will be back when we get close to football. But I do have some off-season content for y'all planned. Look out for that like in July, but the actual show, once the NBA Finals is over, we're going to hiatus till like September. So got a couple more episodes. Next week, we're going to have an NBA Finals preview episode. Get y'all ready for game 1, man. Y'all know where to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BarbChairScott. Follow this glorious company, HNB Media, at HNB Media on Instagram, at HNB Media TV on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow my company, Barbershop Network, at Barbershop Net. Subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Barbershop Network. New Summer Sessions episode will be on Patreon tonight. Cinema with the Guys, a lot of Cinema with the Guys content coming. I fuck with y'all, man. We out.